Hi everyone, Dr. K here. I've just got a quick little hobby tip for all of you who are making terrain. One thing I've always noticed when people use buildings for their terrain is that there's hardly ever any flooring on it. I think this is probably because it's not the easiest thing to make. Maybe, I'm not sure. But I found this plastic canvas at Hobby Lobby today. I picked it up for 49 cents. It's by Doris, and really I think it's just use it for like embroidery or something like that. I'm not really sure what its actual use is for, but I found that this works really well for making an industrial looking flooring for your building. Now, when I use this plastic grating, I usually use it on my buildings, and for my buildings I usually use a square hardwood base for. But to be honest, that really doesn't matter when working with this because you can cut it to size. Now, to start out with this, I always use an X-Acto knife to kind of get the initial shape of it. So I just overlay the plastic grating onto the plastic, and then I just take my I just take my X-Acto knife and carefully trim on the outside layer, the outside edge of the hardwood base. This gives it the exact size that I need. Now, when using the X-Acto knife, you'll also want to make sure that you don't cut towards yourself. You have to be careful with that. But you'll also find that you'll have little edges on the edge of your flooring. To get rid of this, I just take a pair of household scissors and I trim up all the little excess, the flash, if you will, and that usually gets it clean enough to where I can use it for the floor. Now, to attach the flooring to my hardwood base, I use a hot glue gun. Some people might prefer using regular CA glue. I personally find that it doesn't work 100%. It doesn't hold it down as well. So I use a hot glue gun. I find that this cements it really well in place, and it keeps it from going anywhere. But keep in mind when using a hot glue gun that it gets really hot really fast. So just be careful using it, and it should stay in place for you when you paint. Now, after you've done some of the gluing the edges, start putting it on your base. If your building's already attached, be sure to do the edges that are closest to the building. Glue those. Put your flooring down, and then go ahead and glue the outside edges, the outside rim of the flooring. Just lift it up, peel it up, glue a line on the flooring or on the wood, and then just put it back down. This will ensure that it'll stay in place. Okay, so your building's done. Your floor's dried to your hardwood base. You have all your basing done and all that kind of stuff. Now it's time to start thinking about painting it. This kind of flooring I generally think of being metallic, so I use a base coat of black with a dry brushing of bolt gun metal with a highlight of the mithril silver. It works for me. A totally different combination might work for you. But the main thing here is to remember that when you do your spray coat, make sure the spray is coming down almost exactly vertically onto the grate flooring. This will allow it to get in between each of the squares, and you'll get a nice even coat all the way around. So now that your spray paint has dried, you're going to want to do your dry brushing coat of your first color. I'm going to go ahead and use bolt gun metal. So if you don't know how to dry brush, it's really simple. All you do is you dip your paint, you dip your brush into your paint, and then you wipe off a good chunk of the paint that's on your brush. You only want it to be like a reservoir of paint in the brush and not actually on the bristles themselves. So you go ahead and you do that, and then you lightly brush across the entire length of the floor. Finally, you're going to want to work on your highlights. Now, when I did it, I just used a dry brushing method, but I just picked and chose where I put the mithril silver, because I figured it was a dirty old factory. The whole thing isn't going to be pristine. There's going to be dark spots. There's going to be light spots. That's just the nature of the way deterioration works. So I used the same method as I did for the dry brushing, just a little bit pickier about where I put it. So that's really it when using this plastic canvas material. Hopefully this gave you some ideas, and hopefully it helped. If you have any questions, feel free to stop by my blog, www.drkstudios.com, and post them there. And thanks for watching, and I hope this was of some help. Have a great day.